What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Happy Cinco de Mayo, and then we got ourselves the Rite of the 9 tomorrow, so you guys best be ready for some good old content dungeons coming out, or I should say contest level dungeons, which is why our last 3 builds have been helping you out with a Mask of Fealty Hunter build, and then an Inmost Armamentarium Prismatic Titan build, with this one being our last but certainly not least a super support build with the speaker sight helm on a Solar Warlock. So we're gonna have a well going on and a bunch of healing grenades being thrown out, with the Lost Voice healing grenades spawn a restorative turret. Healing allies occasionally spawns orbs of power, so pretty nice for us. And like I said, we're going to be able to heal ourselves, heal our teammates, create a rift. We're going to be able to have our super back very quick, and then one of our weapons is also going to give us restoration. So very supportive build in my personal opinion. So the Solar Warlock that we are going to be using, like I said, we got ourselves the Well of Radiance, giving us Radiant, giving us Restoration. We're going to have the ability to Scorch and Ignite people with this build as well. Playing into the healing side of this build, we're going to have the good old Healing Rift, Balance Glide. For me, I went with Incinerator Snap. For me, it helps the most with spreading that Scorch around, hitting targets, and we're going to be using this for some of our Fragments down there. Of course, we got our Healing Grenade on that is going to cure, grant us restoration as well, plus pairs perfectly with the speaker sight helm on our Warlock up there. Now, to add to this, with the little damage Scorch that we're going to get with this, we're going to have the mortars from Helion, so every time we throw down our rift, we're going to get a little solar mortar to pop up, which is attacking enemies at its will. Plus, Touch of Frame is going to make our healing grenade even better because it improves the strength of cure and restoration effect. If we consume our grenade with heat rises, it also applies, but we're not going to be using heat rising with this build. So basically, our healing grenade just gets better with that cure and restoration. Adding to that, we are going to have Ember of Solace, so the radiant and restoration effects that we apply with this build are going to last longer, which is super nice because with one of our weapons, like I said, we're going to have restoration as well, plus with our healing grenade, so restoration is going to be everywhere. Applying restoration, cure, or radiant applies with the Guardians that we're going to get even more increased grenade, melee, and class ability regen for a short period of time. So this is basically always getting procced with our healing grenade that we got going on, especially since we got Touch of Flame with this. Just adding to our ability spam pairs right back into casting our healing rift, casting our healing grenade, as well as our incinerator snap. Now when we move on, we got Ember of Sealing, so defeating those scorched targets grants us melee energy and create fire sprites. So that is why I like having this on, because it's going to scorch very, very well and very, very easy to help us to create those fire sprites. When we pick them up, those fire sprites going to give us grenade energy, allowing us to spam our healing grenade even more often, with Ember of Mercy being the last one. When we pick up those fire sprites, it's going to grant us restoration, and when we revive an ally or we get revived, we're going to get that nice restoration as well. So another way for restoration to be procced consistently on top of our grenade, on top of what we got for Ember of Solace to make it longer, on top of Touch of Flame to make cure and restoration last even longer. So this is a super support build that's going to help keep you as well as your fire team alive in that contest mode dungeons. Moving on, next right here we got our weapons for this build. So I have the Call On, very good for keeping enemies at bay. We're going to have Slice on this for Sever. We're going to have Unraveling Rounds on this, very good to chunk that damage for like champions, bosses, mini bosses. Super important with this build, we got the No Hesitation. This is going to have that psychic as well as incandescent, so we can spread that solar synergy, spread scorch and ignitions. Plus with physics on there, we're gonna have healing allies grants us and our allies restoration. Just another way that it's gonna last even longer, get even more healing for that support that we already got going on with everything here inside of our Well of Radiance, our healing grenade with Touch of Flame, Soulless right here. It's a pretty disgusting little feedback loop that we got, so this is definitely the most important. And then Galahorn, of course, just because it is definitely one of the best damaging rockets, plus it's a support rocket as well in my opinions, because all of our fire team that is using rockets without being exotic, they're going to get Wolfpack rounds, so adding to the damage potential of this build and of your fire team. Then we're going to be able to stun barrier champions and unstoppables with the weapons that we have right here. When we move on to our mods, as well as what we got over here with triple 100s, resilience going to help us to stay alive with damage reduction. Recovery, we're going to get our health back faster, as well as to be able to proc our rift even more often. And then discipline at 100, we're going to get 45 seconds in between our grenades, so a bunch of healing turrets going to be able to be procced, because we want to throw out those healing grenades as much as humanly possible with the speaker's sight. On top of that, we're going to have harmonic siphon, so all of our solar defeats are going to create orbs of power for us, adding to the support side of this build. Heavy ammo finder, special ammo finder, so we're never going to run out of ammo for either of our weapons. And then this is also going to help our fellow guardians, our allies, to get ammo all the time, so adding to that support side of the build. Impact induction with focusing strike. When we cause damage with our melee, we're going to get our grenade back with these two, and then we're also going to get our rift back with focusing strike, so using our melee to get back our abilities is super nice, and again, using it as much as possible to throw out those healing grenades. On our chest piece, best part right here, depending on the dungeon you go into, you can change this out for literally any type of damage that is coming at you. Melee, concussive, sniper. You could even go with like triple solar if you wanted, depending on how hard the damage is hitting, as well as what the 25% increase is on that dungeon that you're going into specifically. So definitely super essential for staying alive in that end game. On top of that, when we pick up our orbs of power with absolution, it's going to reduce all our abilities every time we pick up an orb. Orb of restoration right here. Every time we pick up an orb, we're going to get a small amount of energy to the ability with the least amount of energy, so super nice. Again, with even more health being brought back to us by picking up those orbs of power. We're going to create even more orbs of power because of Reaper, so not only with harmonic siphon, but even with the call, our kinetic weapon, whatever you end up using, Reaper's going to help you to create more orbs of power to get all this to proc, to get back our Well of Radiance. And then of course, powerful attractions. When we throw down our rift, all of those orbs are going to come to us with bombers. So on top of that, when we use our class ability, we're going to get back our healing grenade. Like I said, trying to use speaker's sight and spam those healing grenades as much as we possibly can on this build. Last but not least, we got ourselves Tablet of Ruin, which really isn't that important for this build. It's a pretty timeless build that you're going to be able to take into any season, any episode, any type of content. It's definitely one of the better support, if not one of the best support builds in the game, because of the healing that we're getting in so many different aspects. But of course, we got our piercing sidearm with the unstoppable rocket. We're going to have unraveling orbs as well as sever on this build, so we're going to create a bunch of tangles, a bunch of unravel, and a bunch of sever just by picking up those orbs of power. Vile weave, targets hit by our tangles are also going to be severed, which is super nice because the call has slice on it, so another way that we're going to get sever. So disruptor spike is going to be important because it increases the effects of sever, which is super nice because lowers that damage of an enemy. So again, survivability support of this build. Elemental siphon right here, we're going to create a bunch of fire sprites by getting defeats with the weapons that match our subclass. So like I said before, in our subclass, those fire sprites are going to grant us restoration as well as grenade energy, so we're going to be able to spam our healing grenades even more often. On top of that, being able to support us and our allies. Gold from lead with Dreadful Finisher. Dreadful Finisher, we're going to do finishers on those powerful combatants to give us special ammo, which when we pick that up, hopefully it's going to grant us a chance to get heavy ammo, so we're never going to run out of ammo really with this build. very good combination of perks that we got on with this artifact. Horde Shuffle, all that unraveled targets that we're going to damage, create threadlings, help with the mob control, help with dealing with ads in general. So little feedback loop that we got on with the strand side of this build. And last but not least, in this column right here, we got heavy ordnance regeneration. So when we do consistent damage with that rocket launcher, we're going to get damage resistant, which is again a support for us and our allies, getting that survivability up, increased grenade and melee regeneration for a short period of time, which is beautiful because again, we want to spam as much as possible those healing grenades on this build with elemental superchargers. So defeating those exhausted or severed targets with our solar weapons going to grant us solar energy, or I should say our super energy. So Well of Radiance, we're going to be able to proc it even more often than we would beforehand, but the combination of these two is super nice, so we can stay alive. We're going to get back our grenades, we're going to get back our super. The restoration is going to be going around like crazy. We're going to scorch, ignite, sever, unravel targets with this build super easily, with all of that restoration lasting forever. We're going to get cure going on. It's going to be very easy for you to keep yourself and your fellow allies alive. We're going to get ammo with this build, so definitely one of the best support builds that we got on Warlock. Speaker's sight on this helm up here is really disgusting. Helps to just spam those healing grenades everywhere. You're going to get those turrets out. You're going to get a bunch of healing with ease, and then obviously with this build we got our well for that damage phases, stuff like that. So definitely give this build a try. It's going to be super clutch for these contest mode dungeons in my personal opinions. Warlock mains are eaten with this, so definitely don't sleep on it. It's going to help you and your fire team clear those dungeons. Like I said, really any type of content you can go into, normal strikes, onslaught raids, master raids, etc. So Rite of the 9 is coming out tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that. Maybe put out a couple guides, etc. But we got a lot going on with the channel. We obviously joined Team Vove. We're going to have a dim link to the build here. We're going to have links to everything social-wise down below, so don't be afraid to like, subscribe, slap that bell if you have not. It helps me out, helps the channel out, plus you guys will get notifications for these builds, god rolls, guides, anything like that that we got going on the channel, live streams as well. So be on the lookout for that. Again, appreciate all you guys for always coming back to the channel. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.